Good day, C3 parents. I'm your host, Karien Pitout, and today we're going to have another installment of parenting during lockdown when cabin fever strikes in. And today's topic is going to be working from home. Now, there has been a consistency of parents asking, how do I cope with my kids, especially as the cabin fever kind of pushes down on all of us and bearing down on all of us. And one of the things that a lot of parents have also given me was a few tips and advice of things that they are doing in their homes to make the working from home as easy as possible. So one of the tips that we have received is parents taking turn. If you're fortunate and in the position that you are both parents at home and working from home, some parents actually have found that if they set up a schedule, 4 hours for the one parent and 4 hours for the other parent, they actually get their work done easier and faster while the other parent entertains the kids, help them, keep them busy, make sure that they do not interrupt, and then finish up their work later at night when the kids are asleep. One of the things that we need to understand is this is a whole change for everybody, not just for us as parents, not just as for us as working from home, but also for the kids as well. Their understanding usually is when my parents are home during the day, the whole day, it is weekend, we have access to them, we have free reign to them, and all of a sudden they are not allowed to just barge in on you or just to come and share a story, or they don't have that much time with you in any way while you are busy working. So what we have found is that if the parents take turns, it is quite effective. It helps the kids settle better. It helps everybody else get their work done, and there's less interruptions. If you are not in the fortunate position where you can have the tag team parenting thing, then for the single parents, one of the skill sets that actually have worked for other parents so far has been to do a 45-minute, 15-minute division of their time. So for 45 minutes the parent sits down, you work, you get your work done in that 45 minutes, and then for 15 minutes or 10 minutes you spend time with your child, whether it's playing or inviting them into your space. Your kids are going to be curious of what you're doing in front of a laptop, or what are you doing sitting down at the desk. They would want to participate. So one of the tricks is to create a little bit of office space for them right next to you, where if they do have the need to be with you, that they can sit and draw or write or type and have that time. Kids can be persistent, and what they're doing is they've got a need that needs to be met, and that is attention from you as the parent. They want you to be connected. They need your love. They need your attention. So the more we fight against them fight with them about them coming to bother, or them coming to step into your workspace while you're trying to concentrate, the more rejected they feel, and actually the more needy they become, and the less their needs are met, the more they're going to reach out to you. So when your kid does walk into the office, give them that quick hug. Give them 5 minutes of your time. That 5 minutes you'll be able to make up later again. Think about it in this way. Majority of South Africans work in open office plans, which means that your colleague will pop by and quickly have a quick chat about something, and it can be extremely disruptive to the workday. But you will not fight and shout at your colleague for interrupting or bothering you. You will give them the time because you view your colleague's interruption and disruption as an important interruption, that whatever they need to say or ask is an important conversation. View it the same way with your kids. View your kids the moment that they walk into your office space as colleagues, as someone that needs to have an important and serious conversation with you. That way it becomes easier to be graceful about it, engage with them on such a level that you will actually fill their need tank or their love tank, so that when you're done engaging with them, they will happily trot out and go play or go do their work, because playing is a child's work in any way, and so that they will actually give you space to actually do your work. Another thing that consistently comes up and pops up is I'm on a serious phone call, I'm on a Skype call, a Zoom call, or any of that kind of conferencing situation. Just give the people attending the conference or the telephonic conversation a heads up that you are at home, that your kids are around, that there may be some form of disruption coming from your kids. Not because they are a force of disruption and they just want to upset everything, but because they need to be accommodated. When you actually give people a heads up, like, hey, you know what, just a heads up, my kids are at home with me, and hopefully they will stay entertained for long enough so that we can conclude this without any disruptions. But when they do barge in or disrupt, just give me a minute or two just to give them to address their needs, and then we can continue with the conversation. Doing that, you are helping people to set their expectations of the conference call. Not that you will be distracted, but that there is a possibility that there may come a disruption, but that disruption will be handled, and that you will continue with the conversation or with the meeting without being distracted after the disruption. It is important for our children to understand that even if they're in home, that they are still allowed to occupy the space in the house. Yes, things have changed, rules have been adjusted, they need to make accommodations as well. But we need to understand that they are just children. They are small. I'm talking mostly about the small children, because the teenagers, most teenagers have this attitude of the less I can have got to do anything with the adults or my parents, the better off I am. But the younger children will definitely seek you out and want to share things with you, or want to share the picture they drew. Take pride in that. Take joy out of the fact that they are seeking you out and that they want connection with you. Like I said, come the teenage years, it might be a complete different story where they will not seek you out. And remember, teenagers can understand that, hey, mom and dad is busy working, I should not disturb them. But the younger the child is, the more difficult it is for them to understand that during this time period, Monday to Friday, my parent is home but they're unavailable, and that actually causes them quite a significant amount of distress and disconnect. So try to connect with them. Lots of hugs. Take that 10-minute break or 15-minute break and just put a lot of effort and exercise into it. Here's the interesting thing: taking regular breaks is actually far better for brain activity and work productivity than sitting down for 4 hours or 8 hours straight and just hammering work through. That is why it is important to have your tea breaks when you're at work, to actually do your proper hour lunch break and not work having a working lunch, or sit down at your desk and eat your lunch. So for lunchtime, make the effort, set a table, have lunch with your kids, sit down and spend that time with them. It creates opportunities of connection, because the more connected a child feels, the more they will allow you to work uninterrupted when you need that. But the more disconnected they feel, the more they want to be in your space, because they're trying to get back to the disconnection. The relationship feels uncomfortable for them. So what is the best way to fix a relationship is to spend time together, have conversations, give hugs, and find ways to connect. And that is their natural instinct. Children have an innate instinct on how to maintain relationships and how they mirror what they feel. So yes, your kids are going to have more tantrums, they're probably going to have more sibling rivalry, they are going to have more difficult days during the lockdown, which is going to have an impact on your work situation. But the reality is that if you miss connecting with them, if you do not make sure that that relationship, that connection stays healthy, it's going to be far more difficult for them. Expect an uptick in need, expect an uptick in love need, but also to understand that there is an uptick and then there's an explosion. So we don't want the explosion, we just want to manage the uptick, and that is why that cycle of 45-minute work, 15-minute or 10-minute break actually does help them. Another thing that you can do that a lot of work from home parents have done successfully is literally the night before, spend an hour going through the kids' toy cases or whatever and set out little do bins. So where you have a little checklist that you either set out a specific amount of Lego, some blocks, some different toys and whatever, and you put it in little activity boxes or activity spaces, and you set it up so that when your child starts their day, that they have easy access to these toys, and that it will keep them busy, and that they can move easily over from the one activity to the other, especially if you need them to keep themselves busy. The moment you take stuff off the shelf and put it out for them to use, it actually draws their attention. It pulls them into the activity. These little busy work boxes actually helps a lot to get a lot of work done. As a work from home parent, I've seen it work successfully over and over and over again. It is just you showing interest in their activities. Then just when you go on your lunch break, you can help them quickly clean up and take out the next lot. Your house does not have to be perfectly clean and tidy during this time period. To basically sum it all up, understand that when your children are younger, I'm talking about preschool and primary school, they need a lot more input from us as parents. So working from home will mean that it would be more beneficial to make set in more breaks so that you get connection time with your kids. The older they are, the less time they will seek to connect with you, but then also make an effort, even though they're older and they don't seek you out for connection, make a plan to spend time and have lunch with them and still find those moments of connection with your family and your kids. Thank you very much for joining me on this video. If you like it, hit that like button, please subscribe, ring that bell so you get notifications. I have set up 2 new videos for you to watch that is consistent or on the playlist of parenting during when cabin fever sets in. Have an absolutely fantastic day. Please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next installment.